In the glittering world of high fashion, a few family names have stood the test of time, not just as brands, but as dynasties. Here, where luxury and legacy are sewn into the fabric of society, the fashion industry emerged, not merely as a creator of attire, but as a sculptor of cultural identity. Indeed, it's a realm where artistry and aristocracy converge, crafting old money empires that drape over the shoulders of time. And from humble workshops to grandiose fashion houses, the evolution of this industry mirrors the transformation of society itself. Today, we will share not just a story of fabric and thread, but of power, innovation, and how these guardians of style became the unsung architects of social norms and global trends. Imagine you were the childless heir to a multi-billion-dollar fashion empire in your twilight years. Who would you write in your will to receive that fabulously large inheritance? Would you follow the more conventional route of passing it over to a direct family member, or perhaps take the Carnegie route and give it all away to philanthropic causes of your choosing? However, what if you, and hear us out on this one, considered a shockingly bold gesture of gratitude, such as bequeathing it to a practically anonymous person who made a profound impact on your life in an unexpected way? Indeed, in a move that can only be described as a remarkable deviation from the expected, Nicolas Puech, an 80-year-old mega-wealthy old money heir of the Hermès dynasty worth roughly $13 billion, has decided to leave many of his billions not to the usual suspects of charity organizations or distant relatives, but to his gardener. Yes, his gardener. This isn't just any gardener, and this fellow, a 51-year-old father of Moroccan descent, has clearly done more than just tend to Puech's petunias. Described affectionately as an adopted son, he has become the unlikely heir to a fortune built on luxury fashion. But the details of Puech's original succession plan are as complex as one might expect from a tycoon. You see, originally, Puech's plan was to leave his entire fortune, estimated to be worth around $13 billion, to the Isocrates Foundation, a charity of his own making, focused on supporting journalism. Indeed, a previously signed inheritance contract with the foundation stipulates that Puech's shares in Hermès, a substantial 5.7%, would go to the foundation, unless he fathers a child. However, in a dramatic twist, he's attempting to sever ties with the foundation and leave around $7 billion worth of shares to his gardener by adopting him. But before we give you the sordid details of who will get their hands on the pot of gold, the foundation, or the family man gardener who could gain generational wealth overnight, we have to start at the beginning and explain just how one heir, among hundreds, could give away $13 billion while his family members remain wealthy, as we describe. The history of the Hermès dynasty, a family so rich that $7 billion could go to their gardener. In the high-stakes world of luxury fashion, the Hermès family, or the Dumas and Puech clans, has crafted a narrative as captivating as the intricate designs of their coveted Birkin bags. Their net worth, a kaleidoscope of wealth and fashion legacy, soared by a staggering $56 billion in 2023, and its sumptuous source is their reign over the French fashion titan, Hermès. This iconic house, like a perfectly tailored suit, fit the year 2023 like a glove, with a 35% rise in share value, embellishing their fortune to an estimated $151 billion. Indeed, such figures don't just speak, they shout in luxurious tones. At the helm of this luxury leviathan is Axel Dumas, a sixth-generation family member and a direct descendant of founder Thierry Hermès. Since assuming the role of Hermès CEO in 2014, Dumas has skillfully navigated Hermès through the competitive luxury boom of the last decade, elevating the brand to become the world's second-largest luxury company by market capitalization. And his leadership has been particularly impactful in expanding Hermès's presence in international markets, with a notable emphasis on Asia. And then there's Bertrand Puech, another family patriarch and brother of the aforementioned Nicolas Puech, who played a pivotal role in safeguarding the independence and family-led ethos of Hermès. His strategic maneuvers were crucial in thwarting the advances of Bernard Arnault, the one-time richest man in the world and founder of luxury conglomerate LVMH, who had allegedly sought to engage in a hostile takeover of Hermès. But Puig's actions were instrumental in ensuring that control of Hermès remained within the family, a move that has undoubtedly contributed to the brand's continued success and prestige. However, the Hermès family is much, much more than just a couple of multi-billionaire shrewd business operators. Indeed, this fashion mega-dynasty has a diverse and influential ensemble of over 100 members, with many continually exerting a profound influence over Hermès International. This illustrious group collectively owns more than 2/3 of the luxury goods maker, ensuring that the decisions and direction of the company are deeply entwined with the family's vision and legacy. As the Hermès family looks to the future, several members, including those from the Dumas wing of the empire, are preparing to launch a family investment structure, expected to be operational in 2024. This development indicates a strategic diversification of the family's interests and assets, further solidifying their influence and legacy in the world of luxury fashion. But how exactly does a so-called family business manage to not only survive, but thrive in the legendarily ultra-competitive luxury goods sector of the 21st century? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the secret isn't found in the classic old money playbook of changing the structure of generational trusts, the way the Rockefellers did, or placing your children at the top of each company under management, the way that Bernard Arnault has mostly done. You see, the key to the Hermès dynasty growing to unfathomable heights is in its unique business structure, which we'll investigate in the next chapter. In the bustling landscape of luxury fashion, the rise of Hermès stands out, defying the Goliaths of the industry with its unique blend of exclusivity and artisanal craftsmanship. And this French luxury brand, established in 1837 by Thierry Hermès, didn't ascend to prominence through the usual paths of mass production or ubiquitous marketing campaigns. Instead, it carved a niche through a steadfast commitment to a unique mix of exclusivity and high-quality craftsmanship. Specifically, while powerhouses like Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent, and Louis Vuitton flexed their muscles with aggressive strategies, Hermès pursued a different path. For instance, LVMH Group, known for Louis Vuitton among other mega fashion brands, spent around 9.5 billion euros on advertising and promotion costs worldwide in 2022, while Hermès has always played a different game. Its marketing expenses are a mere fraction of its revenue, about 4%. And this decision is not born out of frugality, but a strategic choice to maintain an aura of exclusivity. Undoubtedly, this understated approach has cultivated a mystique that continues to attract a dedicated clientele, and its products, unlike those of its competitors, are not available online and are rarely seen in stores. The brand operates on an invitation-only model, where high-spending, loyal customers are offered the chance to purchase their coveted products. To even be considered for the purchase of a Hermès bag, customers must first demonstrate their loyalty through consistent purchases of other Hermès items, such as scarves, perfumes, or jewelry. And this strategy of controlled scarcity has transformed Hermès products, especially the iconic Birkin and Kelly bags, into highly sought-after treasures that often appreciate in value, a rarity in fashion accessories. Furthermore, the production process of each Hermès bag is an icon of traditional craftsmanship and meticulous skill. Each bag is handcrafted by artisans in France, with the creation of a single Birkin bag taking up to 48 hours of labor. Additionally, Hermès artisans undergo a rigorous training regime, including a 4-year apprenticeship and an 18-month mentorship, before they're allowed to craft a bag. This emphasis on artisanal craftsmanship starkly contrasts with the industry's lean towards automation and mass production. And in the secondary market, where pre-owned luxury goods are traded, Hermès bags become even more valuable. Their rarity and exclusivity often lead to an appreciation in value, with returns outstripping traditional investments like the S&P 500 or gold. This remarkable phenomenon highlights Hermès' unique position in the luxury market, transcending the typical ebb and flow of fashion trends. Even more curiously, there was no evidence available during this moment a few decades ago that this family-owned brand would someday be able to go toe-to-toe against fashion's corporate leviathans, such as the $500 billion LVMH. In fact, Hermès seemed poised to be a relatively small boutique brand for its whole history until a few financial plot twists entered the picture, starting with the birth of its first patriarch, Thierry Hermès. The multi-billion-dollar Hermès saga begins with Thierry Hermès, born in 1801 in Krefeld, Germany, under Napoleon's vast empire. This geographical and political backdrop granted Thierry French citizenship, a twist of fate for a child born to a French father and a German mother, a blend of cultures that undoubtedly influenced the young Hermès, shaping his future endeavors. Now, Krefeld, often lauded as the city of velvet and silk, offered a rich cultural milieu for young Thierry. And Thierry was the youngest sibling in a family of 6, raised in the warm embrace of innkeepers. However, his childhood narrative was marred by loss, as disease and war claimed his family, tragically rendering him an orphan. Seeking new horizons, Thierry migrated to Paris in 1821. As always, a city buzzing with innovation and opportunity. After several years, the family resettled in Pont-Audemer, where Thierry honed his leatherworking skills, a craft that would later become his hallmark. By 1837, the seeds of the Hermès brand were sown in the Grand Boulevard quarter of Paris, where Thierry established a harness workshop. And Hermès's workshop quickly earned a reputation for impeccable quality, specializing in harnesses and bridles for Europe's carriage trade. Thierry's artistry was not just in creating functional items, but in elevating them to objects of beauty, and his harnesses became a fixture in Paris's Expositions Universelles, speaking to his unmatched skill. Consequently, the evolution of Hermès under Thierry's watchful eye was remarkable. He shifted from harnesses to crafting exquisite saddles, capturing the hearts of the equestrian elite. For example, the haute courroie bag, designed for saddles and riding boots, marked the brand's foray into luxury accessories. And Thierry's personal life was equally rich, marked by his marriage to Christine Petronille Pierrat and the birth of his son, Charles-Émile. Upon Thierry's passing in 1878, the helm of Hermès passed to Charles-Émile, and later to his sons Adolphe and Émile Maurice. Thereafter, the family relocated the shop to 24 Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré, embedding the Hermès legacy in the heart of Paris, where it proudly stands today. However, the new storefront was just the beginning of the future multi-billion-dollar family enterprise, and patriarch Thierry could have never seen what would happen next, as his descendants took the reins, or, should we say, grabbed the tote handles. In the dynamic heart of 19th century Paris, Charles-Émile Hermès emerged as a visionary leader in the luxury goods industry. See, in 1880, Charles-Émile, endowed with his father's entrepreneurial spirit, took the helm of the Hermès store, steering it through a transformative era in Paris, marked by the dramatic urban overhaul spearheaded by Baron Haussmann. And this period of upheaval, far from destabilizing the Hermès enterprise, presented an auspicious opportunity. With the demolition of its original store looming, a serendipitous eviction payment enabled Charles-Émile to relocate to a grander premise on the prestigious Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré, an address that Hermès proudly maintains to this day as its global headquarters. This strategic move in 1880 and the store's grand opening in 1889 positioned Hermès not merely as a purveyor of luxury goods, but as a symbol of Parisian shopping elegance. Therefore, Charles-Émile's foresight in diversifying Hermès's offerings proved pivotal. The brand, initially rooted in saddlery and harness making under Thierry's guidance, began embracing an array of products including riding equipment, horse blankets, and silk racing jackets. This expansion not only enriched the brand's portfolio, but also cemented its status as a luxury icon. And beyond the realm of equestrian gear, the brand delved into crafting exquisite leather goods, luggage, and handbags, responding adroitly to the evolving demands of European nobility. This diversification was instrumental in Hermès's metamorphosis from a specialized saddlery to a multifaceted luxury goods behemoth. Now, Charles-Émile Hermès's tenure concluded with his demise in 1916, paving the way for his sons Adolphe and Émile Maurice Hermès to take control. Then, the renaming of the company to Hermès Frères, or the Hermès Brothers, signaled a new chapter, and one where the brand adeptly navigated the shifting tides of society's preferences. And it was Émile Maurice, in particular, whose ingenious leadership propelled Hermès into uncharted territories. His securing of exclusive rights to use the zipper in France was not only a technological triumph, but also a cultural milestone, with the zipper affectionately dubbed Fermeture Hermès locally. Then, Émile Maurice's ingenuity shone brightest when, responding to his wife's difficulty in finding a suitable handbag, he personally designed Hermès's inaugural handbag collection in 1922. This personal touch underscored his commitment to quality and innovation, qualities that have become synonymous with the Hermès brand. Hermès's workforce had burgeoned to 80 skilled saddle craftsmen, a symbol of its unwavering dedication to craftsmanship and luxury. In fact, the brand's prestige soared to royal heights, furnishing none other than the Tsar of Russia with saddles. Then, the Roaring Twenties witnessed Émile Maurice further broadening Hermès's horizons, introducing accessories and clothing collections. He astutely prepared for the brand's longevity by integrating his sons-in-law, Robert Dumas, Jean-René Guérin and Francis Puech, into the business, thereby ensuring that the Hermès legacy would continue to flourish under familial stewardship. After Émile Maurice's passing in 1951, his son-in-law, Robert Dumas, assumed leadership, marking a new era of innovation and success for Hermès. Dumas' tenure was distinguished by several landmark achievements, notably the introduction of the iconic Hermès silk scarf in 1937, which further solidified the brand's reputation in the world of luxury fashion. Indeed, this period was transformative for Hermès, transitioning from its roots as an equestrian accessory specialist to a purveyor of a wider range of luxury goods. Thus, the guidance of Adolphe and especially Émile Maurice during these times was critical. Their foresight and adaptability laid the groundwork for Hermès's ascension to the upper echelons of global high fashion and luxury, a status that the brand continues to enjoy and build upon in the modern era. However, in an unexpected turn of events for an old money dynasty like the Hermès Empire, it would really be the in-laws who would turn the family business into a global fashion hegemon in the coming decades, and lead to the succession crisis we discussed in the beginning of this video. On the 10th of November 1898, Robert Dumas Hermès, not born into the Hermès lineage by blood, but through the marriage of the daughter of Émile Maurice Hermès, was born. However, this matrimonial alliance was not just a union of hearts, but of names, as Robert Dumas adopted the Hermès surname, symbolizing a fusion of families and fortunes. And in these early years of the 20th century, the world was on the cusp of an industrial revolution. Automobiles were starting to replace horse-drawn carriages, signaling a paradigm shift, and this change was mirrored in the evolution of the Hermès company, known initially for its exquisite harnesses and saddles, which began to expand into the realm of luxury goods. Robert Dumas Hermès, under the guidance of his father-in-law, Émile Maurice Hermès, started to steer the company in this new direction. Parallel to Robert's story was that of Jean-René Guérin, Robert's brother-in-law, born in August 1907. Like Robert, Jean-René married into the Hermès family and joined the Hermès company in 1926, and his tenure lasted a remarkable 64 years, during which he played a crucial role in establishing Hermès's global footprint, launching the company's worldwide export division. Together, Robert Dumas Hermès and Jean-René Guérin were at the helm during a pivotal era, and they navigated the brand through a world transformed by technological and cultural shifts, laying the groundwork for Hermès's transition into a purveyor of luxury. For example, in the 1950s, the company introduced its iconic Duke carriage with horse logo and the now famous orange paper boxes. However, it was in 1956 when a Life magazine feature catapulted the brand to new heights. The magazine captured Grace Kelly, the globally famous actress and newly minted Princess of Monaco, using a Hermès bag to discreetly cover her pregnancy. This bag, originally named Sac à Dépêche, was soon rechristened the Kelly bag after the princess, marking its ascent into the annals of fashion history. And in 1961, Hermès ventured into the fragrance industry, launching its subsidiary alongside the debut of the Caléchet scent. This name, a nod to a hooded four-wheeled horse carriage and a reflection of the company's logo, intertwined Hermès's heritage with its modern aspirations. Soon the family added Jean-Louis Robert Frédéric Dumas, born on the 2nd of February 1938 in Paris, as the son of Robert Dumas and a descendant of Émile Maurice Hermès, to the fold. Educated at the prestigious Institut d'études politiques de Paris and the Lycée Janson de Sailly, Jean-Louis' upbringing was not confined to the classrooms of France. His adventurous spirit led him on journeys across Iran Afghanistan, Nepal, Scandinavia, and Czechoslovakia. Then, in New York, 1963, Jean-Louis Dumas, fresh from his military duties in Algeria, embarked on an adventure across the Atlantic. He landed a position in the buyer training program at Bloomingdale's, a name that resonates with the allure of high fashion and refined taste. And this period in New York was not just a mere stint. It was a crucible that forged Dumas' understanding of what it means to be a merchant, a vital insight that would later shape his approach to the luxury goods sector. But the year 1964 marked the true turning point in Dumas' professional life, as he joined the ranks of Hermès. Stepping into the company under the leadership of his father, Robert Dumas, Jean-Louis was poised to leave an indelible mark on the brand, assuming leadership of the company in 1978. However, before he could truly take the family name and business to new heights, he'd have to steer the brand through its most stagnant and difficult period in the business's history. In 1978, Jean-Louis Dumas, heir to the Hermès legacy, assumed leadership of the company, which, despite its illustrious past, was experiencing stagnation. But Dumas was poised for the challenge, and his tenure soon signaled a rejuvenation for Hermès. For example, Dumas injected a dose of modernity, introducing fresh talent, notably Éric Berger and Bernard Sanz, who reinvigorated the clothing division with new luxury lines. Thus, the 1980s and 90s under Dumas heralded unprecedented growth and creativity for Hermès. The iconic Birkin bag, born from an unexpected meeting between Dumas and actress Jane Birkin in 1984, became a symbol of luxury and a fashion staple. This period also saw Hermès diversify into ready-to-wear for men and home furnishings, widening its appeal and market reach. By 2006, this strategic expansion had borne fruit. Hermès' revenue climbed to $1.9 billion. Therefore, Dumas had not only revitalized the brand, but also redefined luxury on a global scale. His commitment to quality, craftsmanship, and innovation reshaped Hermès, balancing its rich history with contemporary demands. After 28 years, Dumas retired in January 2006. However, in the world of luxury fashion, few sagas rival the drama of LVMH's oncoming pursuit of Hermès, a storyline replete with corporate strategy and family legacy. You see, the stage was initially set in 2001, prior to Jean-Louis' death, when LVMH, led by the Machiavellian Bernard Arnault, discreetly acquired a 4.9% stake in Hermès. This move, subtle yet strategic, marked the commencement of a high-stakes game in the luxury sector. Fast forward to 2010, and Patrick Thomas, the first non-family CEO, had to grapple with LVMH having stealthily grown that almost 5% stake into 15%. Indeed, this accumulation was not just about numbers, it was about influence and potential control. In response, Hermès, understanding the gravity of the situation, fortified its defenses in December 2010. A private holding company, owning 50.2% of Hermès shares, emerged as a bastion against LVMH's advances, and amid this corporate tussle, legal battles ensued. Hermès, in a bold move, filed a criminal complaint against LVMH, accusing it of insider trading and manipulation. Certainly this wasn't just a legal maneuver. It was a statement of the family's resistance against a perceived financial invasion of the Hermès dynasty's legacy. 2014 saw the denouement of this high fashion drama, with LVMH, in a surprising yet strategic retreat, agreed to distribute its by then 23.2% stake in Hermès to its shareholders, finally gracing the brand with an acknowledgement of the resilience of a family-controlled luxury empire. Enter Axel Dumas, born into the Hermès Dumas lineage, a custodian of a rich heritage. Joining Hermès in 2003, Dumas navigated through various roles, from auditor to retail director, before ascending to the throne of CEO in 2014. And his ascent wasn't just a career progression, it was a continuation of a familial saga. Under Dumas' stewardship, Hermès thrived, with sales skyrocketing and share price soaring, a testament to his commitment to heritage and independence. Therefore, Dumas' leadership was more than a managerial success. It was a celebration of the unique identity of Hermès. And thus we begin where we started, with one of the more than 100 heirs to the Hermès dynasty, perhaps sending off billions to his gardener, of all people. However, no matter what Nicolas Puech decides to do, after hearing this wild family chronicle, it's clear that the Hermès will survive and continue on undeterred. In the heart of the grand headquarters of LVMH, a monthly ritual unfolds as the world's wealthiest man, Bernard Arnault, summons his 5 children to a family gathering. This is no ordinary home-cooked meal filled with the mundane chatter of what everyone did on the weekend. Instead, within these gilded walls, an enthralling spectacle that rivals the gripping drama of the TV show Succession unfolds. As Arnault, the 74-year-old patriarch, navigates the conversation around the table, he seeks strategic counsel from his offspring, scrutinizing their ability to helm a $500 billion luxury empire. The meeting commonly runs a tension-soaked 90 minutes in length, each answer warping into a make-or-break statement that could seal the fate to determine who among Delphine, Antoine, Alexandre, Frédéric, and Jean will ascend to control the prestigious mammoth syndicate of Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Tiffany & Company. You see, this saga of power and legacy is more than a family affair. It's the Arnault children's private audition for the crown of LVMH. In today's episode, grab your luxury handbags and latest couture items as we take you on a journey through how the world's richest man will make the biggest decision of his life, picking an heir to his massive luxury empire. With a net worth that often hovers between $180 and $220 billion, Bernard Jean-Etienne Arnault is not just a player in the luxury goods market, he is the game itself. As the chairman and CEO of LVMH, he oversees a portfolio of 75 prestigious brands, including Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Tiffany & Company. You see, his rapacious swallowing of iconic luxury brands first began in 1989 with his initial takeover of LVMH, but that was just the beginning of his ambitious and strategic expansion. He's continuously grown the company's luxury brand portfolio, solidifying its position as a global leader, and his leadership styles legendarily marked by an unerring attention to detail and bold expansion strategies. Indeed, Arnault is known for his surprise visits to Louis Vuitton stores, directly engaging with employees, thus wielding a hands-on approach that has been crucial in maintaining the high standards and innovation LVMH is known for. Furthermore, his forward thinking is evident in his succession planning, with a proposed reorganization to distribute equal stakes of his holding company, Agache, among his 5 children, all of whom are in executive roles at LVMH. Even better, Arnault's lifestyle mirrors the luxury he peddles. His real estate includes 5 homes in Beverly Hills, totaling $125 million, and a $22 million property in East Hampton, New York. And his Paris mansion is a gallery in itself, housing works by everyone from Jean-Michel Basquiat to Damien Hirst. But his love for the arts extends beyond personal collection. Arnault's array includes rare pieces by Picasso and Warhol, and he often collaborates with artists for his brands. Yet, beyond luxury and art, Arnault's influence additionally stretches into political realms. He maintains a close connection to French heads of state, and his philanthropy is well known throughout his homeland. For instance, a globally recognized philanthropic move he made recently was his €200 million donation to the Notre Dame Cathedral restoration in 2019, a contribution that led French tycoons to collectively donate €300 million in total for the cathedral's restoration. Indeed, this $500 billion man waltzes through the wild world of social influence with an ease that's almost unheard of in modern history, which begs the question, what makes a man with the weight of $500 billion on his mind at all times move with such effortless finesse through the volatile world of luxury? In order to find our answer, we'll have to go back to where it all began, under the industrial grey skies of 20th century northern France. In the early 1900s, northern France was a region where smokestacks painted the sky a relentless shade of grey, the rhythmic clank of machinery peppered the air, and streets were alive with the hustle of hardy souls. It is here, amidst this hive of industry and determination, that the roots of the Arnault family, now synonymous with luxury and grandeur, are firmly planted. Now, the Arnaults, even back then, not ones to shy away from a challenge, delved into the manufacturing industry with a vigor that was as palpable as the steam and soot of the factories that dotted the landscape. It was in Roubaix, a city that stood as a proud beacon of France's industrial prowess, where a child would be born who would paint the Arnault family's masterpieces. However, Bernard's father, Jean Arnault, would soon ironically decide to play with bricks and mortar instead of brush and canvas by creating a construction company long before his son Bernard made his grand entrance on the 5th of March 1949. Indeed, as we shall see, baby Bernard was not just another fortunate heir born with a silver spoon. From the start, he was a prodigy in the making. You see, his father, a shrewd businessman himself, instilled in young Bernard the intricacies of the business realm, setting the stage for his son's eventual dominance in the luxury goods market. Most assuredly, young Bernard's journey was not just a familial path he walked. As soon as he could, it quickly morphed into a runway he sauntered across. And at the École Polytechnique in Paris, from 1969 to 1971, he wasn't merely a student, he was a sponge, absorbing the nectar of knowledge, especially in engineering, science and technology. Already, here at one of France's leading engineering schools, was a young man sharpening his tools, preparing for a future where he would not just participate in the business world, he would revolutionize it. Upon his graduation in 1971, Bernard would quickly join the ranks of his father's construction company, Ferret-Savinel. He was put in charge of 100 employees and quickly attempted to cut out his own vision within the family business under his father. But here's the twist. Young Arnault wasn't content with just being a part of the family lore. He wanted to rewrite and expand it. Thus, in 1974, in a move that would have left Machiavelli nodding in approval, Bernard Arnault masterfully convinced his father to swap the rugged terrain of construction for the more lucrative vistas of real estate by giving birth to Ferinel, a company with a keen focus on holiday accommodations. Like a chess grandmaster, Arnault orchestrated the sale of the company's industrial construction arm, pivoting firmly towards real estate, where he deftly expanded their empire. Come 1981, with the French Socialist Party seizing the reins of power, Arnault, ever the strategist, whisked his family off to the US. There, over 3 years, he continued to weave his magic, growing Ferret-Savinel's property portfolio. Yet 1984 marked a dramatic turn in Arnault's saga. Leaving behind the world of Ferret-Savinel, he embarked on an audacious journey into the realm of luxury goods. In a bold, calculated move, and with the support of Antoine Bernheim of Lazare Frères and Company, he amassed a cool $80 million. But this war chest wasn't for a cautious foray. It was for a grand, theatrical plunge into the opulent waters of the luxury sector. His target? The then bankrupt French textile giant Boussac Saint-Frère, the proud owner of none other than Christian Dior. Therefore, this wasn't just a business maneuver, it was a statement. It was a declaration of Arnault's arrival on the luxury scene, setting the stage for a new era of elegance and extravagance. In 1984, Bernard Arnault found himself at the helm of the parent company of Christian Dior, marking the beginning of a pivotal chapter in his career and the luxury fashion industry. And indeed, his initial move was strategic and transformative. He quickly dove into a rigorous process of corporate rejuvenation, a task that demanded both surgical precision and a visionary's foresight. You see, Arnault's approach was twofold. First, he streamlined operations with a keen eye for efficiency and effectiveness. He did this by meticulously identifying and shed non-essential assets, a process that involved trimming down the conglomerate to its most profitable and promising elements. This proved to be a move that not only improved the financial health of the company, but also allowed for a more focused and coherent brand strategy. Simultaneously, Arnault nurtured the core luxury brands, particularly Christian Dior. He recognized the inherent value and potential of Dior and set about reinforcing its position in the luxury market. This involved investing in high-quality materials, refining the design and production processes, and ensuring that every Dior product exemplified the pinnacle of craftsmanship and style. Furthermore, Arnault focused on expanding the global footprint of Christian Dior. He strategically opened new boutiques in key luxury markets, enhancing the brand's visibility and accessibility. These stores were not just retail spaces, but embodiments of the Dior experience, designed to immerse customers in the elegance and sophistication of the brand. Thus, his relentless focus on resurrecting Christian Dior laid the foundation for what was to become a luxury powerhouse. Under his stewardship, Dior not only regained its lost glory, but also started setting new benchmarks in the luxury fashion industry. But Arnault's ambitions extended far beyond a single brand. He was building an empire, and 1987 marked a pivotal year in this venture. In a move that would redefine the luxury goods sector, Arnault orchestrated the merger of Louis Vuitton with Moet Hennessy. This wasn't merely a merger, it was truly the birth of a luxury goods empire, with Arnault firmly at its helm as chairman and CEO. Soon thereafter, Arnault, envisioning a conglomerate of high-end brands, faced initial skepticism. Yet, with his by then already legendary strategic acumen, he transformed this vision into a triumphant reality, amassing over 70 luxury brands under the LVMH banner. Next, by the mid-1990s, Arnault's ambitions had taken another tangible form in New York. His goal of cementing LVMH's presence in the United States culminated in the majestic LVMH Tower, unveiled in December 1999, and this architectural marvel stood as a symbol of his bold strategic foresight. And during this transformative era, Arnault's approach to mergers and acquisitions was a masterclass in corporate expansion. Under his guidance, LVMH's value surged by over 1,000% and profits increased by 500%. Furthermore, the mid-90s saw LVMH expanding its empire into new territories like Asia, with countries like China and South Korea eagerly embracing their luxury offerings. This led to a period that wasn't just about growth. It was about crafting an image and persona that epitomized luxury and success. LVMH set trends and became trendsetters, with campaigns like Louis Vuitton's 1997 Centennial Collection capturing not just eyes, but hearts worldwide. Indeed, by the turn of the millennium, LVMH had firmly established itself as the largest luxury products company in the world, a financial icon of Arnault's visionary leadership and the relentless pursuit of excellence. And yet, all the while, Bernard Arnault was thinking 2 or 3 decades ahead, wondering who he would have to pass the baton to when it was time to ride into the sunset. In the next chapter, we'll get a chance to meet his partner in crime when building that soon-to-be legendary succession plan. Bernard Arnault and Hélène Mercier, a Canadian pianist of considerable renown, first crossed paths at a dinner party in the fall of 1989, a meeting that turned out to be a prelude in a remarkable journey intertwining culture, music, and high-stakes business. You see, Mercier, a Montreal native born in February 1960, had been a piano prodigy since the tender age of 6, and her talent was not just a fleeting whisper. It was a resounding roar that earned her accolades at the Quebec and Canadian music competitions and the Prague International Chamber Music Competition. The romance between Arnault and Mercier blossomed rapidly, leading to their marriage in 1991, and this union was not just a merger of hearts, but a fusion of cultural depth and business savvy. Specifically, Mercier's entrance into Arnault's life brought a melodious balance to his entrepreneurial rhythm. She embraced the role of stepmother to his children from a previous marriage, and together, the couple expanded their family with 3 more children, Alexandre, Frédéric, and Jean. Now, by the early 2000s, Bernard Arnault's net worth had skyrocketed, catapulting him towards the zenith of global wealth. And it was around this time that Arnault's deep-seated passion for art and culture became prominently visible. He founded the Louis Vuitton Foundation in 2006, a French art museum and cultural center, backed by LVMH. The foundation's building, a monument to deconstructivist architecture designed by Frank Gehry, that same year, marking a new chapter in Arnault's cultural endeavors. But Arnault's love for art wasn't confined to institutional walls. He emerged as a distinguished art collector, acquiring masterpieces from Picasso, Warhol, Yves Klein, and Henry Moore. His collection, likely worth an unspeakable sum, was a vivid reflection of his personal investment in the arts. Concurrently, Arnault steered LVMH through a strategic expansion in the early part of the 2000s decade, and his acquisition spree broadened LVMH's luxury fashion portfolio significantly. In 2001, Arnault led LVMH to acquire Fendi, an Italian fashion giant, a move that was a crucial step in enhancing LVMH's luxury fashion footprint. Initially, LVMH had bought a stake in Fendi, along with Prada in 2000, but by November 2001, LVMH had emerged as the majority stakeholder, buying out Prada's share. Next, in 2004, Bernard Arnault turned his gaze towards the realms of watches and jewelry. Observing a notable absence in these luxurious arenas, he deftly steered LVMH to acquire Swiss watchmaking jewel, Tag Heuer, for a cool $502 million. This shrewd move catapulted LVMH into the high-stakes game of luxury watches, promising to propel Tag Heuer into uncharted territories. Similarly, 2011 heralded the acquisition of Italian luxury titan Bulgari, further cementing LVMH's dominance in the high-end jewelry sphere. Arnault's knack for fostering growth and synergy was unmistakable, and 2013 witnessed a fusion of luxury and art, epitomized by the Louis Vuitton and Jeff Koons collaboration. Arnault's penchant for marrying the art world with luxury fashion underscored the role of LVMH as a trailblazer in the luxury industry. And 2017 was a banner year for the Wolf in Cashmere, with a whopping 42 billion euros in revenue. However, as the registers raked in more dough, the clocks raked in less time. The decades were passing, and Bernard Arnault had still not picked a clear successor for his now 14-figure empire. As it stands today, no one individual child has been named as the clear heir to the throne, but we have a few secret ideas on who will get the crown. Let's investigate that answer in the final chapter of this saga. In the captivating saga of likely heirs to the $500 billion Arnault family empire, Delphine Arnault emerges as a central figure. The firstborn of Bernard Arnault in 1975 on the outskirts of Paris, Delphine's childhood unfolded partly in the diverse landscape of New York, an experience that, rich with cultural contrasts, honed her fluency not just in French, but also in the dynamic language of English, equipping her for future global ventures. Fast forward to her education, a blend of French savoir-faire and British economic acumen, thanks to EDHEC Business School and the London School of Economics. 1997 sees her donning the graduation cap, and soon thereafter, she cuts her professional teeth at the legendary McKinsey Consulting in Paris, sharpening strategic prowess. Now, the year 2000 proved a pivotal moment as Delphine stepped into the family empire. Starting at John Galliano, she swiftly ascended to Dior's commercial directorship in 2001, and by 2008, she was Dior's deputy managing director, a position that witnessed a surge in leather goods and accessories under her watch. 2013 ushers in a new chapter as Delphine becomes executive vice president of Louis Vuitton. Here, she skillfully navigates the brand through luxury market shoals. Her managerial style is as smooth as the finest silk, fostering a haven for creative minds. Fast forward to 2023, and she's the CEO of Christian Dior, a role as significant as it is historic within the Arnault dynasty. Yet, despite her impressive resume, Bernard Arnault plays coy about naming a successor. Delphine, with her growing influence in LVMH and leadership finesse, remains a frontrunner in this high-stakes Game of Thrones, but you can never be sure. Now let's shift the spotlight to Antoine Arnault, born in Roubaix. His tale begins in the United States, where he, alongside Delphine, also embraces the cultural melting pot of New York. His academic pursuit takes him from HEC Montreal to INSEAD, molding a business savant. Antoine's odyssey in the professional realm starts with an internet venture, before he joins Louis Vuitton in 2002. Here, his marketing prowess comes to the fore, particularly during his tenure as head of marketing. Then 2012 marks his ascension as the captain of Berluti, steering it to fiscal heights, followed by chairing the opulent Loro Piana in 2013. His role as the head of communication and image for LVMH in 2018 reflects not just a job title, but a strategic move in bolstering LVMH's digital frontier. Speculation about him succeeding the LVMH empire runs rampant, especially as Bernard Arnault subtly alters the company's leadership age threshold. And then there's Alexandre Arnault, born in 1992, embodying the youthful vigor of LVMH's leadership. A product of Paris's elite educational institutions and the London School of Economics, Alexandre's blend of academic rigor and a laid-back demeanor mirrors the chic nonchalance of the fashion world he inhabits. Since striding into the executive vice presidency at Tiffany & Company in 2023, Alexandre has been the wind beneath the brand's wings, injecting a cocktail of technology and innovation into its veins. He's not just a suit, he's a digital maven, sculpting Group Arnault's technological footprint with the precision of a master jeweler. Then there's Frédéric, born in 1995, a young titan at the helm of Tag Heuer. With his roots entrenched in France's crème de la crème of educational institutions, Frédéric's ascent to CEO is akin to a meticulously planned moon landing, precise, ambitious, and spectacularly successful. Under his stewardship, Tag Heuer has not just ticked along, it has boomed, with some watch models becoming as coveted as a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory. Not to be overshadowed, Jean Arnault, the family's dark horse, leads with a dual master's degree in financial mathematics and mechanical engineering. At Louis Vuitton, he's not just a director, he's a maestro of watches development and marketing, weaving strategy, innovation, and new product launches into a symphony of success. If we were to ask you to think quick on your feet, and name us a couple of fabulously rich people who recently made their wealth in the glamorous world of skincare and cosmetics, we'd bet the first thought coming to your mind would be someone like billionaire singer-turned-beauty icon Rihanna, or perhaps the more controversial claim that Kardashian clan member Kylie Jenner became, at one point in 2019, a billionaire from Kylie Cosmetics line. However, what if we were to tell you that there is one particular family with literally 100 times more wealth than pop singers like Riri, and would make reality TV fortunes like that of the Kardashians, comparable to the coins stuffed away in your niece's piggy bank? Indeed, in today's episode of Old Money Luxury, we'll step into the intriguing and dramatic $250 billion world of family-owned business, L'Oréal. Our story begins with the family's founder, a man whose meteoric rise to fame and fortune in the cosmetics world is forever shadowed by his dark alliance with Nazi Germany. Then the story shifts to his daughter, the family's original matriarch, who finds herself ensnared in a deceptive romance, betrayed by a charming celebrity photographer turned alleged con man. And yet, within this whirlwind of emotional turmoil and shadowy pasts, the family story takes an unexpected turn when this same dynasty gives the world its first woman with a net worth of over $100 billion, Françoise Bettencourt-Meyers. Therefore, this isn't just a tale of financial success, it's a story tinged with unanswered questions and the lingering aftermath of past decisions, as we describe the wild history of the L'Oréal dynasty, the family of the world's richest women. Just a few days before the clock struck midnight on the 1st of January, 2024, Françoise Bettencourt-Meyers, heiress to the legendary L'Oréal cosmetics empire, vaulted into the financial stratosphere, becoming the first woman in history to tip the scales with a net worth north of $100 billion. This eye-popping figure, courtesy of the Bloomberg Billionaires Index and the financial fireworks, can be traced back to L'Oréal's stock, which skyrocketed to its highest zenith since 1998. Highlighting the company's most stellar year to date. Now, Bettencourt-Meyers' golden touch primarily emanates from her substantial slice of L'Oréal, the beauty mega brand boasting an arsenal that includes Lancôme and Garnier, and flaunted a handsome revenue of $42 billion in 2022. However, not merely content to sit on her laurels, Bettencourt-Meyers plays a pivotal role in shaping the company's destiny. As the chairwoman of the family's holding company, Tethys, and the vice-chairwoman of L'Oréal Group's board, she wields considerable influence, underscored by her family's control of over 34% of L'Oréal's stock. And, under her strategic guidance, L'Oréal's stock price shot up by 35% in 2023 alone, a surge in value mirroring the company's robust health and the public's insatiable appetite for luxury products. And the company's aggressive growth strategy was evident in its recent acquisition of the Australian brand Aesop for a jaw-dropping $2.5 billion, marking L'Oréal's biggest brand conquest. And as of December 2023, L'Oréal's market cap stood at an astounding $267 billion, positioning it as the 36th most valuable company on the entire planet. Furthermore, the company's formidable growth trajectory outpaced the global beauty market, with a particularly strong showing in Europe, and L'Oréal's savvy approach to technology hasn't gone unnoticed. By focusing on solving tangible challenges over mere technological showmanship, its product launches have reaped dividends, exemplified by Lancôme Hapta's recognition in Time's Best Inventions of 2023 in the accessibility category. And in a historic move, L'Oréal's CEO, Nicolas Hieronimus, took center stage at CES 2024, marking the first keynote address by a beauty company at the event. This presentation highlighted L'Oréal's commitment to seamlessly integrating technology across physical, digital, and virtual platforms, underlining the company's forward-thinking ethos and its pivotal role in shaping the future of beauty and technology. However, while we tally up the sumptuous sales figures and have our collective breaths taken away by such forward-thinking financial brilliance, it's easy to forget that $260 billion behemoths like L'Oréal don't come out of a vacuum. In fact, when we peel back the layers of the L'Oréal's monumental wealth, a drama is revealed that is one part rags to riches period piece, one part crime thriller, with the family's mysterious rise to wealth beginning in the hotly contested region of Alsace between France and Germany in the late 19th century. The seeds of what would become the colossal cosmetics giant known as L'Oréal begin with the birth of their controversial patriarch, Eugène Schueller, in Europe's Alsace region in 1881. First, Schueller's academic prowess in chemistry, honed at France's National Chemical Engineering School, laid the foundation for his future business triumphs. Graduating in 1904, his flair for chemistry and entrepreneurial ambition were already evident. And in 1909, at the tender age of 28, Schueller ventured into the entrepreneurial world, establishing what would evolve into L'Oréal. His foray into the beauty industry began with the development of one of the first hair dyes, Aureal, a product that quickly caught the attention of Parisian hairdressers for its quality and efficacy. He then astutely registered his burgeoning enterprise as La Société Française de Teinture Inoffensive pour Cheveux, and developed an approach to business and product development firmly rooted in two core principles: relentless research and groundbreaking innovation. For the scientist-turned-cosmetics guru, this ethos was not just a set of ideals, but a practical strategy that guided L'Oréal's expansion into diverse beauty segments, including skincare, haircare, sun protection, and makeup. Thus, relentless research for Schueller meant an unwavering commitment to scientific exploration and understanding. For instance, Schueller's chemistry expertise led him to seek innovative formulas for hair dyes that were safer and more effective than the harmful ingredients commonly used at the time. On the other hand, groundbreaking innovation under Schueller's leadership was about more than just following existing trends in cosmetics. It was about creating new ones. This principle of innovation pushed the boundaries of what was considered possible in the beauty industry, and Schueller's drive for innovation further led to the diversification of L'Oréal's product range. However, Schueller's trailblazing journey was not without its hurdles, especially in perfecting the hair dye formula. One notable challenge was the development of a safe and effective hair dye. You see, early iterations of hair dyes in those days were known to use harsh chemicals, posing risks to users. Schueller spent considerable time and resources to develop a formula that was not only effective in coloring hair, but also safe for consumers, and his persistence paid off, culminating in a product that was both effective and safe. With this, the early 1910s saw the rise of L'Oréal, then still known as the Société Française de Teinture Inoffensive pour Cheveux, and Schueller's aforementioned iconic hair dye, L'Oréal, had marked the onset of L'Oréal's long-standing legacy in the beauty industry. But Schueller's vision was not limited to hair care. L'Oréal soon ventured into skincare and other beauty products, and by 1920, the company had 3 chemists on its payroll. Later decades saw a period of strategic expansion and diversification for the company, laying the foundation for its future status as a leading force in the cosmetics industry. The 1930s saw the company broaden its range further, including the groundbreaking introduction of the first sunscreen in 1936. This move underscored L'Oréal's commitment to innovation and its adaptability to evolving consumer needs, and L'Oréal's ability to thrive during the challenging economic climate of the Great Depression was noteworthy. The broader cosmetics industry, paradoxically, saw a rise in sales during this time, even as other sectors struggled. This resilience was partly due to the lipstick effect, a phenomenon where consumers, despite financial constraints, continued to indulge in small luxuries like cosmetics. However, the 1940s presented a more complex scenario for Schuler and L'Oréal. On one hand, Schuler's ambition for the company was clear, with L'Oréal's sales nearly quadrupling from 1940 to 1944, and Schuler's personal wealth growing by leaps and bounds. However, this era was also marred by controversy due to Schuler's political affiliations. You see, at this time, Schuler was associated with far-right groups and the Vichy regime, the French government that collaborated with the Third Reich in the early 1940s. Indeed, the Vichy regime, led by Marshal Philippe Pétain, was known for its collaborationist policies with the Nazi occupiers, a stark contrast to the French resistance movement. And Schuler's support for La Cagoule, a French fascist-leaning organization, further complicated his reputation. La Cagoule, also known as the Cagoulards, was involved in espionage, sabotage, and assassination plots, aiming to overthrow the French Third Republic and establish an authoritarian regime. And Schuler's alleged deeper connections with Nazi invaders were also a significant aspect of this period. He reportedly fostered relationships with prominent Nazis, which likely aided the economic success of his business during the war, and his writings and lectures became increasingly pro-Nazi and anti-Republican, reflecting a shift in his public stance towards explicit support of Nazi ideology and opposition to the democratic values of the French Republic. And post-war, Schuler's wartime activities led to an investigation for collaboration with the Nazis. However, he managed to navigate through this precarious period without significant repercussions, and he remained at the helm of L'Oréal, steering the company through the post-war era. With such a controversial stain on its legacy, it was clear by the 1950s L'Oréal needed a rebuilding and a rebranding. Indeed, with the coming baby boom era on the horizon, the stage was set for a compelling chapter in the saga of L'Oréal, leaving the world in eager anticipation of its next grand move. In the 1950s, L'Oréal entered a transformative phase, experiencing explosive growth that would solidify its standing as a global cosmetics powerhouse. The post-war consumer boom, amplified by the glamorous influence of blonde screen idols like Marilyn Monroe, sparked a surge in demand for beauty products. L'Oréal, with its impressive research and development team of 100 by 1950, was primed to capitalize on these burgeoning trends. And the era saw François Dalle, who had joined the company during the war, ascend to joint general manager by 1948. Under his guidance, L'Oréal commenced its international expansion, with this period being marked by strategic brand acquisitions and a keen eye for seizing new opportunities, encapsulated in their motto, Savoir saisir ce qui commence, or seize new opportunities. By the end of the decade, L'Oréal had not only established a robust international presence, but also garnered a reputation for quality and innovation. And the swinging 60s continued this trajectory of innovation and diversification for L'Oréal. Certainly, the decade was a hotbed for significant advancements in research and development, evident in the brand's establishment of new cosmetological and bacteriological facilities in 1963 and 1964, and the inauguration of a new research and production center in Aulnay-sous-Bois in 1960. These innovative maneuvers eventually brought the research staff count to 300, and soon L'Oréal also embraced the spirit of emancipation that defined the era. Responding to the trend of long hair, popularized by icons like Brigitte Bardot, L'Oréal developed products that catered to this demand while maintaining safety and quality. Furthermore, a pivotal moment came in the 1970s with the launch of the home hair coloring brand Preference and its iconic slogan, "Because I'm worth it," resonating with the increasing number of women entering the public sphere and workforce. But the company's strategies in the 60s weren't confined to product innovation. L'Oréal expanded its operations to new markets, establishing a presence in 60 countries by the early half of the decade. And this international expansion was a strategic move to establish a global footprint and cater to diverse consumer needs across various regions. However, at this point in the story, L'Oréal, as a brand and family, was more synonymous with science, business acumen, and political controversy than eye-watering wealth. Undoubtedly, the opulent lifestyle and flashy displays of financial freedom many of us know the family for had yet to begin, and it took the birth of a young girl in Paris to get it all started. Liliane Bettencourt, born as Liliane Henriette Charlotte Schuler on the 21st of October 1922 in Paris, France, was the only child of Eugene Schuler and Louise Madeleine Berthe Dancieux, a pianist. Now, unsurprisingly, Liliane's childhood was marked by luxury and privilege, although the early loss of her mother when she was just 5 years old added a level of gravitas not often mentioned in recountings of her life story. Growing up in the 1920s, Liliane's life was one of opulence, surrounded by servants, tutors, and a constant flow of high-profile visitors in her Parisian apartment and her home on the Brittany coast. Despite the early loss of her mother, her father made sure she received plenty of attention, and he often brought her to his office and factories, immersing her in the world of business and cosmetics from a tender age. Indeed, Liliane started her hands-on experience in the family business at 15, joining L'Oréal as an apprentice in 1938. There, she learned the craft of mixing cosmetics and labeling shampoo bottles, setting the stage for her future role as the principal shareholder of L'Oréal. And by the early 1950s, Liliane had climbed the corporate ladder to become vice president of L'Oréal. Certainly, her initial roles in L'Oréal were crucial in shaping its future. She was deeply involved in the company's operations and played a significant role in its expansion. Following her father's death in 1957, she inherited the business and steered it towards new heights, and the 70s and 80s saw significant expansion under Bettencourt's influence. She adopted an aggressive expansion strategy, leading to the acquisition of several high-profile brands, such as the French luxury perfume and cosmetics house, US cosmetics company Helena Rubinstein, and luxury fashion retailer Ralph Lauren. Then, in 1974, Bettencourt made a strategic move by selling almost half of her L'Oréal stock to Nestlé, forming the French holding company Gesparal. This alliance greatly facilitated L'Oréal's expansion into international markets, particularly in Japan, and the company's structure remained a federation of competitive companies, boasting 147 production and distribution facilities worldwide across 5 divisions. Additionally, alongside her husband André and their daughter Françoise Bettencourt Myers, Liliane Bettencourt founded the Bettencourt Schuler Foundation in 1987. And throughout the 1990s, the foundation dedicated substantial resources to various causes, with a significant focus on supporting scientific research. Thus, by the turn of the 21st century, L'Oréal's ascension to a market leader in the beauty industry was the culmination of strategic decisions and visionary leadership across generations. The company's growth trajectory was not just a matter of chance, but a result of its ability to evolve with its consumer base and effectively anticipate the needs of an ever-growing market. However, all the business success in the world doesn't necessarily grant someone an eagle eye when it comes to love. Therefore, in the final chapter of our saga, we'll see as the one-time richest woman in the world deals with a legendary case of alleged fraud in the romance department. In the early 2000s, the life of L'Oréal heiress Liliane Bettencourt took a notable turn with her relationship with François-Marie Bagnier, a well-connected, if mysteriously suspicious, celebrity photographer. Bagnier, known for his connections with public figures and celebrities like Yves Saint Laurent, Pierre Cardin and Johnny Depp, was more than 20 years younger than Bettencourt. But their relationship, despite the significant age gap, was reportedly characterized by a deep emotional bond. Many say this connection filled a void in Bettencourt's life, shaped by her husband's political pursuits and a growing distance with her daughter, Françoise Bettencourt Myers. However, this relationship became a focal point of intense public scrutiny and legal battles in the 2010s. Bettencourt's daughter, Françoise Bettencourt Myers, the current world's richest woman and family heiress mentioned at the beginning of this video, raised allegations against Bagnier, accusing him of exploiting her mother's vulnerability and deteriorating mental health due to Alzheimer's disease. Indeed, Bettencourt's gifts to Bagné, which included a life insurance policy, art pieces, and even a private island, were estimated at a staggering 1.3 billion, yes, billion with a B, euros. Thus, in 2008, Bettencourt Meyers took legal action against Bagné, accusing him of taking advantage of her mother and initiating proceedings to have Bettencourt declared mentally incompetent. And the situation was further complicated by Bettencourt's declining health and the immense fortune involved. The legal battles spotlighted the complex dynamics of wealth, influence, and vulnerability, painting a vivid picture of the challenges faced by one of the wealthiest families in the world and the intricate personal relationships within it. Thus, the Bettencourt-Bagné trial, one of the most high-profile cases in French history, captivated the public's attention and drew parallels to the Brooke Astor trial. In July 2010, the trial faced an adjournment due to the emergence of tape recordings made by Bettencourt's butler, which revealed that Bettencourt had initially made Bagné her sole heir, excluding the L'Oréal shares already signed over to her daughter and grandsons. However, Bettencourt later removed Bagné from her will, and in 2015, Bagné was convicted of abuse of weakness of Liliane Bettencourt. The prosecutor described Bagné's influence over Bettencourt as overwhelming, comparing it to a spider's control over its prey. Subsequently, Bagné was initially sentenced to 2.5 years in prison and ordered to pay 158 million euros in damages. Additionally, 7 other defendants, including Bettencourt's financial advisor, lawyer, and notary, were convicted. However, upon appeal in 2016, Bagné's sentence was reduced to 4 years suspended and a €300,000 fine, with the other damages cancelled. And the public fallout from the Bettencourt-Bagné controversy posed a potential risk to L'Oréal's brand perception. The scandal threatened the trust and esteem customers placed in the L'Oréal brand, which could have negatively impacted the company's financial performance. However, L'Oréal's long-standing reputation for product quality, scientific research, and brand stability helped mitigate the potential negative impact on its public image. In response to these challenges and the evolving consumer culture, L'Oréal strategically embraced the digital revolution. The company focused on creating unique beauty experiences through a data-driven approach, enabling personalized products and services. Innovations like AI-driven personalized beauty solutions and augmented reality makeup trials set L'Oréal apart in the competitive beauty industry. And financially, L'Oréal maintained a strong position in the beauty industry. In 2020, despite the pandemic-induced decline in the overall beauty market, L'Oréal preserved its profitability, and by 2024, L'Oréal has remained the top player in the beauty industry, significantly outperforming its closest competitor, Unilever. The year is 1993. We find ourselves within the majestic confines of Gucci's historic headquarters. Maurizio Gucci, the calculating successor of a splendid fashion legacy spanning over 60 years, stands at the precipice of a heart-rending decision. He once tactfully maneuvered through family intrigues and power plays, as if a lead actor in a Shakespearean tragedy's third act. Today, however, he faces a daunting task, relinquishing his perceived birthright. In the austere boardroom, Maurizio, aged 46, is painstakingly conducting negotiations for the sale of the Gucci name to Investcorp, a globally recognized Bahrain-based management firm. The resonant echoes of his flamboyant spending, impulsive life choices, and costly marriage fill the tense air, serving as harsh reminders of why he must surrender the Gucci legacy. This poignant scene mirrors a common narrative for old money fashion dynasties. Surprisingly, the designer label adorning your attire or luxury handbag is often no longer owned by the namesake family. Today, on Old Money Luxury, we delve into the tragic sagas of why and how old money fashion families lose their luxury empires. Fashion's family dynasties have a rich and storied history, with the concept of old money in the industry stretching back to the 19th and early 20th centuries. These families built their fortunes in an era of rapid industrialization and societal transformation, leveraging their unique skills, creativity, and business acumen to establish what would become some of the world's most renowned luxury fashion houses. Prominent examples of old money fashion families include the Guccis, the Pradas, the Versaces, and the Fendis. These dynasties have not just shaped fashion trends across generations, but they have also wielded significant influence on global culture, lifestyle, and luxury consumer behavior. Their impact extends beyond the catwalk. They've had an indelible effect on the art world, film industry, and high society circles. When everything is going well, being a family-run business in fashion brings numerous advantages. There's often a deep-seated understanding and passion for the craft passed down through generations, fostering a sense of continuity and tradition that can strongly resonate with consumers. Moreover, these businesses tend to have long-term visions, a factor that often translates into a more sustainable business approach. Indeed, much like the dynasties of royal hereditary monarchs around the world, successful family transitions are integral to these old money fashion dynasties. For instance, the Hermès family has managed to maintain control of their brand across 5 generations, with a clearly defined succession plan that has allowed them to retain their brand's distinct identity. Similarly, Chanel has kept the brand's legacy alive despite the passing of its founder, thanks to the foresight and talent of the late Karl Lagerfeld. However, maintaining a family-run fashion house isn't without its challenges. Family control often comes with its fair share of internal dynamics that can threaten the stability of the business. Disputes over control, diverging visions for the brand, or even a lack of interest from younger family members in taking the reins can result in instability. Let us now describe 3 key examples of just how these dynamics can savagely wrench an old money fashion family's namesake from their duly deserved next generations. In the movingly romantic streets of 1850s Paris, Louis Vuitton, a visionary craftsman, transformed his passion for luggage making into a thriving enterprise. His obsession with exquisite craftsmanship quickly enamored the Parisian elite, and the humble shop's reputation burgeoned into a symbol of opulence, setting the stage for a luxury travel revolution. Under the astute guidance of Louis's son, Georges Vuitton, the brand unfurled its wings globally. A potent mix of innovation and tradition birthed masterpieces like the iconic monogram canvas, entrenching Louis Vuitton as an emblem of elegance and affluence. However, as the decades ticked into the 1970s and 80s, the gilded brand began to tarnish. The market swelled with counterfeit Vuitton products, shadowing the brand's exclusivity with a veil of reproducibility. The ambitious venture into ready-to-wear collections, although initially a triumph, soon turned into a battleground against relentless competition and fickle fashion trends. At the helm of the chaos was Henri Rassamier, husband to Louis Vuitton's great-granddaughter. He seized control in 1977, steering the brand towards growth. Yet the familial ties weaving the brand together began to unravel as Rassamier's vision clashed with the others. Family disputes over the company's trajectory, set against the backdrop of intensifying competition, birthed a maelstrom of internal turmoil and management missteps. Confronted with this perfect storm, the Vuitton family made a heart-wrenching decision. In 1987, they sold Louis Vuitton to the spirits conglomerate Moet Hennessy, birthing the powerhouse LVMH, thus leading to the rise of the world's richest man, the almighty monarch of modern fashion, Bernard Arnault. If you're curious about the backstory of the Arnault family dynasty and the current competition to helm that $500 billion luxury empire, click the card on screen to watch our recent deep dive into that intoxicating tale of fashion intrigue. Of course, the Vuitton family's loss to the LVMH labyrinth was a bitter pill to swallow, with emotional ties and the family's storied history, with the brand adding a sting to the sale. But the harsh reality of economic pressures and family dynamics left them no choice. The Vuittons found themselves marooned post-acquisition, their once powerful influence dwindling to a whisper. Lucky for them, however, the loss of their namesake would not, at least not yet, be the subject of a huge Hollywood blockbuster film, showcasing the tragic loss of the company and death of one of the family's key members. That unfortunate reality would be the story of our next old money fashion family to lose their luxury empire. The riveting narrative of the Gucci family is one of humble beginnings, ascension to dizzying heights, and an eventual, devastating collapse. The prologue unfolds in 1921, with the industrious Italian artisan Guccio Gucci launching a modest leather goods shop in the heart of Florence. Over decades, this unassuming endeavor metamorphosed into one of the most esteemed luxury fashion icons globally. The golden age of Gucci emerged in the 1950s and 60s, buoyed by celebrity endorsements and high-profile patronage. A pivotal chapter was inscribed in 1953 when Jackie Kennedy, the era's unparalleled fashion muse, was photographed clutching a Gucci bag during her husband's presidential inauguration. This defining moment not only cemented Gucci's foothold in America, but also projected the brand onto the global stage. In tribute, the bag was fittingly renamed the Jackie. However, the glittering sheen of success began to tarnish as time marched into subsequent decades. Family discord, managerial missteps, and ill-judged business choices corroded the brand's image and profitability. The Gucci family's stronghold on their empire began to crumble in the 1980s, when the Gucci siblings found themselves ensnared in a bitter power struggle, their personal battles spilling over into lawsuits that further dented the brand. Amidst this tumultuous storm, the family could do little to stem the ebbing profits and surging debts. By the late 1980s, the brutal reality had set in. They needed to sell Gucci to Investcorp, a Bahrain-based investment firm. The aftermath was a total loss of the brand for the Gucci family. Maurizio Gucci, the final family member at the helm, was compelled to offload his remaining shares in 1993, marking the definitive end of the Gucci family's reign. The tragedy was amplified with Maurizio's sudden death in 1995 and his ex-wife's subsequent conviction for orchestrating his murder, a macabre epilogue to a tale of luxury and loss. Of course, at this point, it should go without saying that if you're fascinated by this topic, the Guccis and even more fashion empires, you must watch the incredibly riveting film House of Gucci, featuring Oscar-worthy dramatizations of this saga. Truth be told, anything with Lady Gaga and/or Adam Driver in it is worth seeing, regardless of the topic. Now, the Gucci saga epitomizes the dangerous cocktail of internal family feuds, ineffective management, and lack of succession planning that can precipitate the downfall of even an internationally acclaimed family business like Gucci. However, interestingly, Gucci itself, as a brand not by the Gucci family, would purchase the next family name we will discuss, swallowing up the last pieces of a brilliant brand that, to this day, is marked by cutting-edge influence and fashion prowess. The captivating tale of the Saint Laurent family unfurls with the birth of Yves Saint Laurent, a prodigiously talented young man who, at the tender age of 21, would take the reins of the esteemed House of Dior, following Christian Dior's sudden death in 1957. In the turbulent 1960s, Saint Laurent decided to part ways with Dior to establish his own fashion house. Backed by his partner, Pierre Berge, Yves Saint Laurent quickly gained a reputation for his groundbreaking designs. From Lee smoking suit to the sheer blouse, challenging societal norms and transforming the landscape of women's fashion. Saint Laurent's meteoric ascent was not without its tribulations, however. Struggles with addiction and the pressures of his high-profile position began to take a toll on his physical and mental health. Yet the Saint Laurent brand persisted, its star rising ever higher in the firmament of global fashion. However, the lustrous veneer began to show cracks as the decades advanced. Financial difficulties, partly due to a tumultuous market and the increasing costs of maintaining an haute couture line, began to erode the empire's foundations. In the late 1990s, in a plot twist that even Ridley Scott's direction couldn't find time to fit into a film, the decision was made to sell the brand to none other than the so-called Gucci Group, now a part of Kering conglomerate. With the sale, Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berge lost direct control over the fashion house they'd built, although they remained involved in the haute couture line until Yves' retirement in 2002. After Saint Laurent's death in 2008, Berge became the custodian of his legacy, overseeing the preservation and exhibition of Yves' designs in their jointly established foundation. Yet the brand itself moved forward under new stewardship, shepherded by successive creative directors such as Tom Ford, Stefano Pilati, and Hedi Slimane, who continued to reinterpret Yves' iconic designs for a new generation. In a humble convent orphanage in a quiet corner of France, we find a young girl named Gabrielle stitching away at a garment. With a needle and thread in her small, determined hands, she is absorbed in her creative world, oblivious to the cacophonous chatter of the other orphans around her. Finally finding a skill that helps to block the harsh memories of a life marked by hardship, and devoid of the glamour that her name, Coco Chanel, would one day signify. Her fingers dance across the fabric, weaving dreams into threads, every stitch a silent pledge to herself, every creation a step closer to the future she craves. Who would think that in a few short years she will rise above her circumstances to redefine the contours of luxury and high fashion? In today's video at Old Money Luxury, we share a tale of transformation, of adversity spun into gold, describing the full story of Coco Chanel's wealth, and how young Gabrielle went from abject poverty to a member of fashion's old money elite. Born on August 19, 1883 in Saumur, France, Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel experienced hardship from her earliest years. Her mother, a laundrywoman, died when Gabrielle was only 12, leaving her father, a nomadic street peddler, unable to care for his 5 children. He placed the young Gabrielle and her 2 sisters in a stark, austere orphanage run by the Congregation of the Sacred Heart of Mary. The socio-economic conditions of her early years were harsh, defined by poverty and uncertainty, yet it was in these exacting conditions that the seeds of her future were sown. In the orphanage, the nuns taught her to sew, a skill that proved invaluable, sparking a passion and proficiency that would ultimately change her destiny. Life in the orphanage, though frugal and disciplined, played an instrumental role in molding Coco Chanel. It was there that she developed her style aesthetics, inspired by the stark uniforms and the simplicity of life. The minimalistic design, the muted colors, and the focus on comfort over ostentation became cornerstones of her fashion ethos. From the stern yet caring nuns, she learned not just the art of sewing, but also the values of discipline, hard work, and perseverance. These values would later become her guiding principles, helping her navigate the demanding world of fashion. Little did she know, her journey from this humble beginning to becoming a fashion doyenne was just about to unfold. Escaping the confines of the orphanage as a young woman, Chanel first found work as a seamstress in the early 1900s. By night, she was a cafe singer, charming crowds with her soulful voice in the cabarets of Vichy and Moulins from 1905 to 1908. It was during this time that she acquired the nickname Coco, a moniker that would become her identity in the fashion world. Though she briefly harbored dreams of a stage career, her destiny lay elsewhere. Through her social connections in the cabaret scene, notably with the wealthy cavalry officer Etienne Balsan, Chanel entered the world of French high society. Balsan lavished Chanel with an extravagant lifestyle, and perhaps more importantly, he introduced her to a network of influential individuals. In 1910, with financial backing primarily from Balsan and subsequently from one of his friends, British industrialist Arthur Boy Capel, Chanel was able to open her first shop in Paris. This millinery shop on Paris's Rue Cambon marked her formal entry into the fashion industry. She began by selling hats, gaining popularity among the Parisian elite with her unique designs. Now, Coco's entrance into the fashion world was far from conventional. It was a strategic move that drew on her personal connections and an intuitive understanding of the shifting socio-cultural landscape. The fashion industry at the time was dominated by lavish and impractical designs. Against this backdrop, Chanel's unique aesthetics, imbued with simplicity and elegance, began to attract attention. This was just the beginning. As she prepared to revolutionize women's fashion, she was also paving her way to unprecedented wealth. Chanel's breakthrough in the fashion industry came in the 1920s, marked by 2 revolutionary introductions. The first was her legendary perfume, Chanel No. 5. Introduced in 1921, it was a radical departure from the heavily floral fragrances of the era. The complex composition designed by famed perfumer Ernest Beau was as audacious and unconventional as Chanel herself. The perfume, which Chanel wanted to smell like a woman and not a flower, was an instant hit and became a timeless symbol of luxury and sophistication. Around the same time, Chanel also revolutionized clothing design. She bid adieu to the corseted silhouette of the time, introducing comfortable, practical, yet chic clothing. With her simple, elegant designs, she catered to the changing needs of post-war women. Chanel's designs, ranging from the iconic little black dress, the versatile Chanel suit, to the pioneering use of jersey fabric, were revolutionary. These creations not only won her critical acclaim, but also brought her considerable commercial success. The brand Chanel began to grow, fueled by these successful ventures. She expanded her boutiques, opening stores in Deauville and Biarritz, catering to the fashion needs of not just Parisian women, but those across France. She introduced a range of products, including clothes, accessories, and jewelry. Her boutiques became a symbol of luxury and echoed her exquisite taste and craftsmanship. Chanel's breakthrough innovations cemented her status in the fashion industry. She was not just an astute businesswoman, but also a visionary who could anticipate and shape fashion trends. As her brand grew, so did her wealth, moving her further away from her humble beginnings towards the status of old money. From her small millinery shop on Rue Cambon, she expanded into a fully fledged fashion empire. With the increasing popularity of her designs, her boutiques turned into lucrative businesses, enabling her to acquire an immense fortune. Strategic relationships played a significant role in Chanel's wealth accumulation. Notably, her partnership with Pierre Wertheimer, a renowned businessman, propelled Chanel No. 5 into a global bestseller. In 1924, they formed Parfums Chanel, with Wertheimer getting 70%, Chanel receiving 10%, and the remaining 20% going to Théophile Bader, who brokered the deal. Despite the small stake, this deal secured her a constant and substantial income that added to her wealth. Chanel's business model was as unique as her designs. She rejected the norms of the time and instead built a brand focused on the customer's needs, comfort, and evolving societal norms. The simplicity and functionality embedded in her designs catered to the modern, independent woman, earning her a loyal clientele. Her emphasis on branding and reputation management, underscored by the iconic interlocking C logo and her own persona as the brand's ambassador, set her apart in the competitive fashion industry. Moreover, she had an astute understanding of the value of intellectual property. She was one of the first designers to trademark her designs, protecting them from being copied and ensuring that she reaped the full financial benefits of her creations. Chanel's path to immense wealth was marked by a potent combination of innovation, strategic partnerships, and a groundbreaking business model. In her hands, the fashion business transformed into a vehicle of wealth creation, propelling her to the echelons of fashion's old money set. The dawn of World War II in 1939 imposed substantial upheavals on Coco Chanel's personal life and flourishing enterprise. Refined sensibility and artistic flair, the hallmarks of her eponymous brand, seemed incongruous against the backdrop of the stark realities engulfing war-torn Europe. As the conflict escalated, Chanel confronted the harsh necessity of shuttering her couture boutiques, retaining only her perfume and accessories division in operation. This abrupt decision led to unemployment for approximately 4,000 of her staff, catapulting Chanel into a phase of significant financial unpredictability. Concurrently, Chanel's behavior during the war years ignited intense controversy. The focal point of this contentiousness was her intimate involvement with a high-ranking German Nazi officer, Hans Gunther von Dinklage. This romantic association stirred widespread scandal, further fanned by persistent rumors of Chanel's purported role as a Nazi operative. These suspicions were predicated on a number of elements, including her privileged lifestyle in occupied Paris, which was afforded due to her connection with von Dinklage and alleged meetings with Nazi officials. Despite these accusations, she was never formally indicted or publicly scrutinized for her supposed Nazi affiliations. Nevertheless, the damning allegations cast a long-lasting pall over her legacy. They complicated her personal and professional life during an already tumultuous period, exacerbating her difficulties amid the global conflict. The war years were undeniably a financial downturn for Chanel. With her main couture business abruptly halted, her revenue streams witnessed a drastic plunge, thereby augmenting her monetary hardships. The once prolific fashion house was reduced to a shadow of its former self, a bleak representation of the dark era the world was traversing. In the 1950s, almost 2 decades after she closed her boutiques, Chanel staged an impressive comeback. At the age of 71, she reopened her couture house. Many viewed her return as risky, and initial reactions to her new collections were lukewarm, especially in France, where memories of her wartime activities still. However, the American and British press applauded her return, especially her reinvention of the Chanel suit and the little black dress, designs that had defined her pre-war collections. As post-war women sought elegance intertwined with comfort, Chanel's designs found a new audience. Her fashions, celebrating simplicity and freedom of movement, struck a chord with the modern woman. Her comeback proved successful, both critically and commercially. The revival of her fashion house led to the consolidation of her wealth, which had suffered during the war years. Revenue from her popular designs and her lucrative perfume business with the Wertheimers bolstered Chanel's finances. The woman who once sang in cabarets for a living was now a key player in the world of fashion's old money. The impact of the Chanel brand on high fashion and luxury goods was, and remains, profound. Despite her humble beginnings and the challenges she faced, Chanel successfully rebuilt her empire. At the time of her death in 1971, Coco Chanel had accumulated considerable wealth. Despite the challenges she faced during the war years, the successful revival of her brand in the 1950s had put her firmly back on the path to financial prosperity. While her personal net worth remains somewhat elusive due to her private nature and complex business dealings, there's no doubt that Chanel was one of the wealthiest women in the world. Even after her death, Chanel's wealth has continued to grow posthumously. Chanel's brand, guided by the astute leadership of Karl Lagerfeld for more than 3 decades, continues to thrive and expand. Today, the House of Chanel is not just a fashion house, it's a global powerhouse in the luxury goods market, spanning clothing, perfume, cosmetics, and accessories. The Chanel brand's current value is estimated to be in the billions, making it one of the most valuable and influential brands in the fashion industry. A significant part of this value is rooted in Chanel's enduring legacy, as the ethos of elegance, simplicity, and comfort that she championed continues to resonate with customers today.